Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. Tonight's show is sponsored by Wisconsin Flight Sports. They make it affordable and accessible for you to get your paramotor training. They are stocked with SkyMax Paramotors, one of the best paramotors available, and they are ready to be shipped to you today. Check out Paraswag USA for your complete powered paragliding gear, Source providing you with the new Rebel 2 RS paramotor, as well as other gear and accessories. JK Custom Carbs is a father and daughter run small business taking your vision and immortalizing it forever on wood, plastic, or aluminum. With extremely affordable pricing, this creation makes a great gift and trophy for any paramotor enthusiast. Find JK Custom Carbs on Facebook or click on their link on the Our Paramotor Nation website. iFly Indiana provides USPPA certified powered paragliding training on their equipment or on yours. Full-time classes are 7 to 9 days. Part-time classes are also available. Come out to Indiana and see how beautiful it can be to train. Take the next big step in your paramotor training at Skylab Paramotor SIV. Here, paramotor pilots of all skill levels will learn collapse recovery and advanced maneuvers. One-Up Adventures and ParamotorProps.com. Come share their passion for flight on adventure trips around the world. Additionally, they are a supplier of carbon fiber propellers in the U.S. at extremely low prices and have become a leader in the country for getting tandem training and exemptions. Fly My PPG offers a full-service paramotor training experience with 3 on-site instructors and class sizes limited to 6 students, all on a beautiful private 90-acre airport. Fly My PPG offers on-site lodging and RV camping. Space is limited, so don't wait to make your reservation. More than just soap, Charlie Soap has all-natural laundry detergents and household cleaners like no others. They are a supporter of Resurgence PPG. Get all the natural cleaning supplies you need at charliesoap.com. Celebrating their 10th anniversary, the team at Fly PPG discovered power paragliding has helped people from around the world get into our great sport. They are the Midwest importers and distributors of adventure paramotors, trikes, and wings. Aviator Paramotor is a cornerstone for paramotor training while offering its students some of the top paramotoring equipment. With 2 locations in beautiful Florida, class availability has never been more convenient. With raving reviews, Lone Star Paramotor has become one of the most sought-out paramotor schools in the South, near San Antonio, Texas, offering foot launching and trike training classes and much more. Light up the skies with PPG lights and make one heck of an impression with countless patterns and colors on your paramotor. No aircraft can miss seeing you when you are flying at twilight with PPG lights. Nebraska Paramotor strives to be a central resource hub for the community training just southeast of Springfield, Nebraska. They will help you select the best paramotor, glider, and other accessories suited for your flying style. Wicked Wings logo can help you have a one-of-a-kind custom glider with one or multiple colors on your logo. Get all the information you need to order your logo today on the Our Paramotor Nation website. That's www.ourparamotornation.com. And while you're there, check out Our Paramotor Nation's upcoming shows, watch our past shows, and visit all of our sponsors and find out much, much more. And now, let's get started with Our Paramotor Nation.
Episode 97. I can't believe it. Welcome back to Our Paramotor Nation. If we haven't met, my name is David Wolf, and this is a big microphone right in my face. How's everybody doing tonight? It was a fun, exciting weekend for so many people. We had a couple of fly-ins. You guys can come on in. James and Dave and John. James Sutherland and Charlie Soap is our guest tonight. Welcome you all. Ripa, where were you? I know you were flying at a little fly-in this weekend.
Oh, we did some flying for sure. Yeah, we went to the local Parawave Island fly-in here in Geneva, Florida.
That's awesome.
So
a lot of people there?
Flew. There was a few people there, not a lot. A few of us flew in from a local airstrip, and we landed on the island, hung out for a little while, and then flew back.
Awesome. And then we the Swanee fly-in. A lot of people I heard were there. A lot of good time.
Looked pretty crowded.
So I just hope everybody got home safely. Dave, how about you? Were you flying this weekend?
Last week, and we went down to Kyle's and kind of invaded over there. Got to fly with Mark and Elena, of course, Greg and Anthony, and had a real good time.
Dude, you just name drop. Bang.
Yeah, just had a great time.
James, we'll get to you in a second. All right. So sit tight for a second. Yeah, I got to take up my folks for the first time for their first flights yesterday. It was awesome. My mother had an amazing time and can't wait to come back in the summer and the fall to see the leaves changing and all the green on the trees in the summer. So that was pretty cool, being able to give them some introductory flights. Couple quick announcements. Last week I threw on the website I forgot to make mention of it, but Fly My PPG's second annual fly-in in Saranac, Michigan is going to be September 9th through September 12th. So if you're up that way, it was a lot of fun being at the Walters RC Airfield. Go check that out. They are a huge supporter of Resurgence PPG. And also on a quick announcement about Bad Apples. The open registration is now available. You can go to the Bad Apples website. I think I just saw something on Facebook. Now, you're not paying anything right now. This is just give the Bad Apples, the organizers, some idea of who's going to be there and how many t-shirts to order. So you can go on there, click on it, just give them the courtesy of telling them that you're going to be there so they know how many t-shirts to order and how many people to expect. And this is something great, and you've heard me say this before. 100% of the proceeds will be going to Resurgence PPG. You know, I one thing I've learned is not to tell anybody how to spend their money or judge anybody how you can spend your money however you want. But I really have a pride. I'm so proud of all the people that support Resurgence PPG. As you can see, I got my Resurgence PPG buff. I've got a mask here, and I've got another Resurgence PPG buff. These are going to be giveaways on tonight's show. Dave's putting names, as you can see. Look how focused Dave is right now. He's putting names in the wheel. We'll give those away a little bit later on the wheel tonight. But, you know, I want to say this too. You know, we started doing this a couple of weeks back where half of the proceeds in the super chat will go directly to Resurgence PPG. And I'm real excited each week when I can go ahead and send another check over to Resurgence PPG and help support that organization. I want to give a couple shout outs also. You know, these shows are not so easy of hitting a couple buttons and boom, you got a show on. There's a lot of work that goes into these. So I want to express my gratitude to Robert Michaels of Paragliding Talk, who's been a big supporter of Resurgence PPG. I was very proud to see Sean Simons this past Monday night on Clear Prop TV. He was giving away 50% of the proceeds to his super chat as well to Resurgence PPG. A couple other shows I knew do a lot of hard work out there. You know, Shane, Never Skinny Shane Chef, he started the show on Tuesday night, so go check him out. And of course, our very own Dave Ruff, who has a show on Wednesday night, which is called After Dark. Right, Dave?
Absolutely, yeah. This coming Wednesday, we're going to start giving 50% of all proceeds over to Resurgence PPG. And
awesome.
yeah, it's going to be awesome.
That's awesome. I'll give a quick shout out to James Sutherland, who just posted in the super chat. He just donated $10 for Resurgence PPG. That's
all right,
awesome.
James.
And it started.
I'm going to give. Go ahead, Johnny.
Give me 1 second. I got to turn the air conditioning on. It's so hot in here.
Okay. So one of the, I want to say a quick shout out to a guy that many people know. Of course, that's Tucker Gott. He put out a video where also just check this out. Sit through the ads. 50% or I'm sorry, 100% of the proceeds from that video will, for the next, I think he said for the week, will be going through to Resurgence PPG. So that's very, very cool, Tucker, to do. That was the video, I believe, talking about the last couple of incidents that have happened in our sport. So very, very cool. All right. James Sutherland is here. Charlie's Soap. He is an owner of Charlie's Soap. And I've got one of my bottles of Charlie's Soap
I
right
got mine
here.
right here, and now it's not showing up.
It was so good in the pre-show.
It was so good in the preview. But yeah,
is.
laundry detergent, I've been using it forever.
That's what I'm talking about.
Over a
There you
year.
go.
One of these bags lasts me a year.
You're probably not using it enough.
It says 300 loads.
Buy
I
more.
do laundry once a week. So
So how James, how did Charlie's Soap start? What's the story behind Charlie's Soap?
My dad started it. He was hired by my grandfather. My grandfather made lubricants for the textile industry, and he hired my father because my grandmother basically said that she'd divorce him if he didn't hire my dad. And so, anyways, he started making his lubricants better for him, just because he was bored. And then he made a cleaner for textiles. Anyways, about 20 years ago, I guess, my brothers and I took the business over from him, and been doing as best we can to grow it online ever since.
Well, it's definitely gone from a little mom and pop shop. Now it's how many countries carry Charlie's Soap?
I believe that we're in 32 different countries.
Wow.
We're directly into, I say 4 or 5, but indirectly into several more. But we're all 50 states and doing okay. But I still
Amazon?
need all y'all to buy Charlie soap as often as possible. So
And I know I every time I'm in a store and I see Charlie soap, I grab a bottle of it or I grab a package of it and I take a quick little video. I do a little pro just to support my friend right there.
I've got lots of coming up to do.
Johnny, did you have something there, sir?
No, I was just going to say I use that spray bottle to wipe my prop down, my air box, and my shroud cover. Stuff works great.
I soak my carburetor in it. When I do a carb rebuild, I soak it in there and then blow it out with air. Works really good. Yeah.
Which product?
The all-purpose cleaner or the indoor outdoor. That pre-spray is good.
Okay.
It works really good.
Quick shout out to John Wayne, who just donated $10 in the super chat. He's always good for helping us out. Thank you, John Wayne. Appreciate that, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah, it's growing. We got some questions coming in here too. I didn't even see those. I'm sorry, guys. Also, wow. Fafusto47, please send a shout out to all the future and aspiring pilots out there. I hope to fly with you guys someday. And that was for $20. Thank you. We hope so too, man. We'd love to see your progression in the sport. James, you had a big date today.
Yeah.
You hit a milestone on YouTube. James has a YouTube channel. And if one of you two guys, John, if you wouldn't mind just posting that in the chat, and hopefully everybody can jump over that, subscribe to the channel. But you had a milestone today for yourself.
A big 200 subscribers. Huge.
That's
huge
awesome.
day.
Which is surprising to me because I've been following you and watching your videos for some time now, you know, and I never realized it was.
They must be really bad. They must be really bad.
You're fun. So, and that's the thing about you two. You fly often. Where do you live? I'm just saying, I know some of the questions I'm going to ask you, but I want everybody else to know. Where do you live?
I'm in North Carolina, the middle of the state on the northern side, right next to Virginia.
One thing I noticed when you're flying, there's not many outs, or at least it doesn't seem to be from your videos, is there?
They are there, but they're very small.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many close calls have you had in that small little area?
That is a big number. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, close calls. I had 16 engine outs my first 100 flights. Yeah.
16.
So, and now I just do it for the fun of it and land out in weird places just for the fun of it.
You hold time out. You just do the engine outs for the fun of it now?
No, well, the land outs anywhere I can possibly land out is I don't know. They all feel like notches on my belt or something, and so I like, even if it's a kamikaze run where you just know you won't be able to get out of there, but you can get in there. I love those. Where you're going to have to call somebody and say, man, I just landed at wherever, come get me. So.
Yeah. I think David is frozen up. Oh, there he is. I don't know.
Sweet.
Am I? I don't think so.
Well, you were on the screen for like the last 30 seconds like this.
Okay. Well,
so I took a picture of it.
I was in awe. All right. So Michael Weatherspoon just came in for $20 in the super chat. Thank you, Michael. We really appreciate that. James, speaking of counting, one of the things I've always noticed is that you count every flight, and it's not a small number anymore. How many flights are you now up to, and how long have you been flying for?
It's so, I'm actually lacking right now because I'm not exactly current, but I think it's about 630, 640 flights now. But I did like 300 in the last year, and that's really, I don't know. I did a lot of growing in the past year. And flying.
When you say you do 300, is it like, oh, I'm going to make 3 flights today. I'm just going to I'll do a quick 10-minute flight, come down, land, reset up and take off again? Or are you really flying that many days?
I try to fly as often as I can possibly fly. I have my rules about wind and temperature's not like really in there, but wind direction's not really in there because I have 10 different places I can take off from. Depending on where the wind's coming from, but when the wind's too much, I won't fly. But when it's not, I'm out there as if at all possible. And most of the time it's possible. This past year, COVID, nobody wants you around. And so they don't care if you take an hour here, an hour there to go flying. So I got a lot of flying this year.
That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah.
We had a couple questions here. I'm going to try to get to those because we're going to get questions here. First question. Oh, by the way, PPG Pirate says I need to call you Baby Eyes.
Oh God.
Baby Eyes. Why Baby Eyes? Thank you for the $10 donation, PPG Pirate, to call you Baby Eyes. I can do anything.
$10.
There's a limit, though. I won't do anything. But
I have no idea why he would want that. No idea at all. I can't tell that story.
oh wow. All right. Well, here's another question from so who is your favorite PPG pilot?
My favorite PPG pilot.
Yes.
I think it might be female PPG
No,
pilot.
it doesn't say female. It just says the question was favorite PPG pilot.
Okay, fair enough.
Who is your favorite? I don't care if she gets pissed off. Who is your favorite? We've given
I'd
enough.
have to say Leah.
Leah who?
Yeah, she's my
Katuno.
babe.
Oh,
She kills it. Every time I see her fly, she's killing it. It's never like an easy kind of easygoing flight. Or at least I don't ever see her doing that. Maybe she does, but it makes me want to go out and like amp it up every time I do it too. So
yeah.
And plus she's been around the whole time. I think I've known her for 2.5 years now, and we talk regularly, and she's always there to kind of bounce ideas about the way our wings work, and that kind of stuff. And over the past year, I've been trying to create that craft, I guess, and she's been really there, helpful to me. Anyways.
Yeah, over 600 flights. I was asking you earlier, how many years have you been flying now?
5. Right
5
at
years.
5. Yeah.
So you really just picked it up in this past year.
Yeah. I turned it on. So yeah, I was doing about 100 flights a year, doing it the best I can, and then I bought that van, and ever since I've gotten the van, I can leave like right now.
Game changer.
Yeah, it changed my whole world up.
No hooking up the trailer, no dragging it around.
Just getting the right keys, going outside and leaving. Everything's already loaded up. So.
I have seen this van, and I have to say it is like watching someone play Tetris, the way you have everything stacked perfectly in there with no room to spare.
There's not a lot.
You got your
I like the diesel heater.
What all do you have in there?
Say it again.
What all do you have in there? So people understand this van, how packed it is. What all do you have?
The trike with every tool that I need to take it completely apart down to, I mean, I can get the motor completely apart with the tools that I have.
You guys have your bed in there too.
Shower, it's a camp shower, but batteries, God knows how many video camera batteries and glove batteries and fan batteries, and now one wheel, the devil himself, the one wheel batteries, all of that. So
it's amazing you have suspension left on your vehicle.
It's a 3500, so it's beefed up, and I got the dually. So
all right. So we had talked about this question before, and Yankee Paramotor brings this up. He says, so why did James put on his PPG wing? We're talking about Charlie Soap, that big wing. Everybody sees it, Charlie Soap on it, advertising, obviously, but why was the encouragement to do so? But we discussed this before. And, I did a little research into, FAR 103 as far as, who am I to argue with Yankee Paramotor? He has a plethora of knowledge, but, don't we all have a logo on our gliders from the manufacturer? Some of us have a Wicked Wings logo. It's, could be advertised, are you flying Charlie Soap? You could say it's kind of we've got a lot of great areas in paramotoring, don't we? So, maybe you're not getting paid to do it. No one paid you, right? Was there any exchange of cash to go ahead and put Charlie Soap on your glider?
I think they paid like $1,000 out of the $3,700 for the wing. I talked him into helping me with $1,000 of it, and this was early on during that first year of getting a new wing. And they said that if I could get 30 flights, then they'd pay for the $1,000. And I was like, man, I wish I could extrapolate that. And for get $1,000 for every 30 flights. That would have been nice.
Right.
But
Right,
anyway,
but you're an owner of the company, so it's not like you're getting paid to advertise, right?
no, but it's a community. So let's say with me and my brothers and my dad and my sisters and everybody that's involved with the company, I can't take $1,000 without everybody wanting to take $1,000. So it's not something that we all like to do. It's hard.
Understood. Okay. Mark H wanted to know what causes the most engine outs.
I would say bad maintenance, but that's not the case. A bad manufacturer, I would say.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that it was maintenance, because the more that you take responsibility for things, the more control you have over the situation. But I was really doing everything that I could to do maintenance that first 100 flights, and I just had a bad motor. And I'm not going to go into who it was, but it was.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
You gotta subscribe to the channel and watch the early videos if you want to know who that
I was kind of mad.
All right.
I think that there are a couple pilots out there that have had similar issues with that manufacturer. Luckily, they've changed things since then. 5 years ago. So.
All right. Harley Milne 50X Challenge says he wanted me to ask you, how do you balance your business and flying as much as you do?
It took a lot. Basically, you have to front load it. You have to do a lot of work on your business and to make sure that it's running properly when you step out the door for a couple of hours. And that's the main concern. You don't want to be watching your motor every 2 seconds either. And so I guess good maintenance. I bet I've got employees watching me and they're gonna kick me in the butt for that, but they handle it all basically now.
It's awesome, man.
You
So
let them know
5 years
you're going to be on tonight?
I let them know. I was pretty excited about it. I watch this show pretty religiously. I've missed a couple of them, but I watch this show pretty religiously. I love paramotoring, so it's just cool to like hang out with you guys, or anytime talking about a wing or talking about a motor or talking about a land out or anything like that. It's like, just give me another minute talking about it.
One of the great things about this this forum, is we get to see how many people are watching live at any time. Right now, I think it looks like there's 91 people watching. But as I go and I watch the next couple of days after, not just this show, but all the shows, several hundred people watch. And I've really come to realize that people across the pond in the countries, Europe countries, they're watching it too. And it's great. For a lot of people, it's great to just get in your car, drive to work. You don't have to watch the screen. You can just listen to it while you're driving. So it really keeps, like you just said, love talking about paramotoring and hearing about paramotoring and hearing people's stories. So tell us about a story. Tell us about what's been, if you could think in 5 years, what's been the most exciting flight for you and why?
Don't do it, James.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It'd have to be with Ripa. It'd have to be that. I mean, I have been on 400 flights since then, and I've done
set it up, James. Set the story up.
I've been in Florida and in Ohio, and I just feel like that was the craziest time, and I'm not sure if we'll ever do that again. I don't think either of us will ever do anything.
James and I got lost in some fog, and we flew about an hour out of the way over mountaintops, and we didn't have land outs, and we didn't know if we were going to make it.
We didn't even know each other.
Yeah. When it finally cleared, we're about a mile from the airport, and James decides he's going to land in a field with 3-foot high grass. And the story just got worse from there. I'll let James finish it.
Oh, man, I hate to do it. Somebody busted a prop. But other than that, we landed out. He landed out. I landed out to take a piss. Excuse my parlance.
Then we had to get a ride to a field where we could launch from,
Yep,
which we waited probably an hour on the side of the road for that.
we did. And then I took off at like 12:30, which is just something I had never done. And I've probably done it
Downwind,
3
downhill,
times. Yeah.
downwind, downhill.
Yep. And I took off and I went around, and then I saw Ripa fall on his landing. And so I landed to make sure that he was okay. And then something came over me, and I was like, it's 7 to 10 miles or whatever. And there are a lot of thermals out, and I'm just going. And so I took off again. I made another launch that day and flew midday. And so there was this group of guys that went for an XC to another place, and we all kind of met up at the same time. So like we had our own adventure, me and Ripa.
That's amazing.
It was crazy.
Wow.
And I don't think that
Never forget that one, James.
No, that one was pretty rough. I remember there was this one little section where we were in the clouds. I mean, deep clouds, and we were probably 50 feet over the trees, and the like thick, you can't see through it, clouds are 50 feet above us. And so we're kind of like flying in this little area, and we were climbing over a mountain. And I know we went over this dude's porch. And he's
gosh.
probably, it's like, I
James,
don't know.
tell him how
It's
far.
been like
Tell him
getting
how far
morning
we.
coffee.
Tell him how far we went out of the way, though. We went like so far out of the way. It was crazy.
Yeah, like I went to kind of verify where we were. There's no way we'll ever do that again. I mean, unless we really want to push it.
Yeah.
I mean, and we did it so nonchalantly that day. That's what was so cool about it. It was just like, oh, no big deal. We're flying in the clouds. I mean, it was stupid, but I said, okay, this is the best time I think I've ever been in a paramotor. And it was during that flight. We came over like a mountain peak down into a valley. And as we were going down into the valley, the clouds opened up and the clouds kind of stopped, and we dipped below the clouds. Do you remember that, Ripper?
Yep.
And you could see there was only like this tiny little field in this huge valley, and a road going to the field and then a road going out of the field. And I was like, we are not stopping there, because that's where people get killed. And so, but we had to like fly back up into the clouds over another peak in the thickest fog I've ever seen in my life. And anyways, I get excited about it.
So
I'm just curious. I'm curious for both of you. Have either one of you ever read FAR 103? Just curious.
It was not good. We were not.
No.
I'm pretty sure we were not.
To say the least, these days I have 2 computers, and I also have my phone with Fly Sky High. So now that won't ever happen again.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you both are safe and got out of that.
yeah, guys, don't do that.
Never do that again.
Yeah,
No.
it's rewarding, but it's not that rewarding. Like,
Yes.
there's a whole lot of other stuff that you can do.
For those of you that are new to the sport, we don't fly through thick clouds that we can't see anything around us.
No.
We always need to have an out. We always need to have a mile of visibility in every direction.
Yes.
Right?
100%. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry,
learned
I didn't
something.
mean to take the conversation in that. That's what you were talking about. Don't do it. It was bad.
You've learned from it, and you've been
Yeah,
learning
yeah.
more things recently too. You've recently taken an SIV course over
Yes.
at Skylab. What was the biggest thing you learned? We've talked so much about Skylab, the 3 of us, some of our guests, Bart Berry a couple weeks ago. What was the biggest thing you took out of Skylab, out of your SIV course?
How much control there is in the wings, and how I didn't really understand what a full stall would do, and what it was good for, and why you would ever even know about it, let alone try it. And I think I understand it now. But the biggest thing that I got from SIV was, so this was kind of weird. Everybody in my group kind of hit this wall, and they progressed to a point where they were like, yeah, well, maybe one of them didn't, but I went to Leah and I said, I didn't feel like I really progressed fast enough to hit a wall. And she said, well, you hit your wall, which is your speed of progression. And she's right. It's taken me 5 years to get here. And so my progression is going to be slow. And that's what she said. You've just determined that your progression is going to be slow, but that's a safe way of doing things. So at least that's what she said. And so that's kind of what I learned, was that I was like on the right road, and it gave me more, I don't know, confidence in my already, what I wanted to do already, if that makes any sense.
So when you were towing, you were probably up around 4,000, maybe more.
Yeah.
And I bring the altitude up, and I'm curious what the highest altitude you've been up to while you were flying your paramotor. And the reason I ask, I want to congratulate Never Trust the Skinny Chef Shane Robbins, who just donated $20 in the chat. And he said that is for all the people who have flown to the Mile High Club as he did this past weekend. Congratulations, Shane, on that achievement. What's that?
He got me. I'm so scared of heights.
No kidding, James.
I got into this thing because I was scared of heights, and I was tired of being scared of heights. And so, in fact, like the highest I've ever been is on a tow rope. I was up somewhere around 42 or 4,300 feet with them. Yeah. And I think I've only been to 4,000 feet with a paramotor.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. It was an excellent experience.
We got to keep pushing. We keep pushing ourselves to make ourselves better, right?
Yeah.
That's why we do.
This summer, I'm definitely going to go to Mile. Definitely. Damn it.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. You got to keep putting what? Did you say something?
Yeah. I'm not supposed to cuss.
Mile High Shane. I didn't catch it. Hopefully, hey, Mark George, thank you very much for that comment. 19 thumbs up. I can't see how many thumbs up are right now, but yeah, please just if nothing else, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't think you're doing a good job. It's possible too. So you're talking about this crazy flight that you had, and you landed out in some tall grass, but I got to bear witness of a flight that you made that we were flying together, and this is this past September at the Dave Purden fly-in, and I watched you go down in the mud.
That wasn't the most exciting part, was it?
What's that?
That wasn't the most exciting part of that, was it?
No, it wasn't. Why don't you share with us that flight?
Well, I had just put I think I had just put a new motor on, or I had just rebuilt my motor. I think that's what it was. And I went to that thing and gotten out and flying as quickly as I could when I got there. And I think that it happened right after I got there, or like real close to right after I got there. But I was spiraling down looking like an idiot, and my motor's crapped out at about 200 feet, maybe like 100 feet. And I had enough time to make one turn and then hit a tractor trail that went through one of like the little high place where, anyways.
I remember.
Yeah, it was bad. And so I remember talking to somebody. Maybe was I talking to you on the radio or on the phone or something?
I think I was. I remembered that I was calling Dave Purden. So one of the things, and this is one of the smartest things I've seen at any fly-in, Dave Purden gives you a wristband and he puts his cell phone number on there. So if you should go down in a muddy field or maybe in a river with fish, that you have his phone number that you can call him. And so I was on the phone telling him exactly where you were, and I was telling him, okay, there's the gate over here, it's right outside of the main field, and you'd be able to pull in. And I'm going, wait, hold on, this son of a bitch, this guy's about to go ahead and try to launch it. I can't believe it. Take it, James.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about somebody getting their dang truck stuck out there, and just ruining somebody's half a day trying to get me out of there for being an idiot. And so I figured, let me try once to get up out of here. If I can get some speed, then I can get, 3 feet off the ground. I can get up above this grass. And it was so muddy. So like I just laid my wing out over some 4 foot tall grass and did the best I could. And I found a little, and I actually have that video. I just found it recently. I'm going to release it pretty soon.
Did you? All right.
It's exciting because like I shouldn't have taken off there. nobody should have been able to take off there. I couldn't stand. It was too muddy to even stand out there.
I was blown away that you could get the trike rolling. Blown away, man. I couldn't believe it.
I was so happy. Did you see me kicking my legs? I was like, I couldn't have it.
And you didn't break any FAR 103 regulations or rules.
Not a single one. I don't think.
That was great. You know, I just brought up this question about, you know, how high you have flown and pushing yourselves and progressing. And yeah, John put this in my notes here, and I had just read it too. And I'm glad you did, John. But I was going to bring this up too. The real Jeff Dean, he put a comment in the chat, and he says, "Is there a point where we don't have to progress and push the envelope? I feel I'm almost there. Just enjoy flying and do what I do now." And that's so important, man. You don't have to do, you know, SIV maneuvers if you don't want to. You just go fly the way you want to, right? Enjoy it. Do what you want to do. You know, like you just said, oh, I was doing spirals and looking stupid. I didn't think you were looking stupid, but maybe you thought it was silly to do that. Now, Just Me put another comment after that and said, to piggyback on that statement, is social media producing peer pressure to push into progress, to push it to progress, to progress? I'm sorry, I can't read. To push it to progress. Meaning, are we watching people on YouTube and seeing what they do and trying to make ourselves more than what we need to do? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm sure everybody there are people that have that problem, you know, that they may not, it may not be natural for them to go where they're going, and maybe they're watching something and being pushed towards something that they're not naturally going to do. But I have a feeling that anybody that gets into what we're doing is it's natural for them. You know, it's natural for everybody that I know in paramotor, and we just didn't, at worst, we didn't know it until we got here, that it was natural to us. That's the way I feel.
I love the fact that when I go flying or I see anybody flying with Todd Falstad, he won't let you near him to do a tip touch. Okay.
Really?
John,
No.
John,
You got to come in hard. You got to come in hard and get him when he's not looking and collapse half his wing.
Now, John Ripa flew in on me one time. I didn't even know he was there, and he was right. Yeah, John came right on top of him one time. I thought you were going to knock him out of the sky. It was crazy.
No. I've been trying for years to touch that wingtip.
You want that tip?
That's a pet peeve of mine too. I mean,
really?
I'm kind of with Yankee about that. I don't fly with communication a lot. So unless I'm flying with communication, I don't want anybody like real close to me. You know, maybe if I'm on the horn with them and I'm like, all right, stay right there. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. We're looking great, you know, and like kind of working it in like we're Blue Angels or something. Okay. You know, but those guys talk to each other while they're doing that crazy shit. Excuse my language.
JK Custom Stars says he's the same way. Stay away from me. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I had somebody, you know, I was down in Florida, and like I had somebody that is really knowledgeable and really capable, kind of get a little too close, and it was cool to fly with them, but I wish I would have been on comms, you know, and I wish I would have like been told ahead of time, hey, watch out for me, I might get a little close. It's just me. I'm a scaredy cat. So
okay, no, listen, you know,
people have gotten hurt, you know, it's not fun.
I agree.
Yeah, that's cool. And you know what? But back to Just Me's point.
But I'll tip touch in a heartbeat.
When when we did SIV, I'm gonna ask Dave and I'm gonna ask John this. Do you feel like social media pushed you to do something that you otherwise wouldn't have been comfortable to do? I mean, I get a kick out of doing sats. I love it.
I'll answer that. Dave,
but it had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with watching anybody else like a Matt Minion or a Leah Cotillo or an Andy Fuller or a Kyle Mooney. I like watching them do it, and it got me excited, but never did make me feel like I needed to do it. I want you guys to answer.
Dave Ruff pushed me into doing it. I would have never done it. Honestly, I was not ready for it, and I was scared. And I've had towing experience and pre-flight experience, and I was not wanting to do that. But when I saw Dave do it, and to be honest, when I saw you do it, there was no backing down from that. So I went ahead with it. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did it. As you heard on my video, I felt very comfortable with Andy in my ear. There was one time I froze, and then I heard his voice, and I unfroze, and I just listened to what he said. And every time he said something, and I listened to him, everything worked out. So I'm glad I did it, but I don't think I ever would have done it if you two didn't do it. So that's my take on it.
Friends is a different story. Now, YouTube and all that, don't get as much peer pressure, but I went to, my SIV thing started with, sorry, Dave, you were about to you were probably going to tell your experience before I launched right into mine, but apologize.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
If it weren't for PPG Pirate, Brooke Sheffield, I probably wouldn't have done it. It wouldn't have happened. I voiced what I wanted to do next, which was I met him at Pace. No, not Pace, at Flight If You Got It. And he asked me what was next for James, and I said taking an SIV course and doing my Tandem, certification so I can fly my dad as soon as possible. And he was like, yeah, that sounds great. And then in about 2 or 3 months, he was signed up for an SIV class and a Tandem cert class. And I was like, damn it, can I follow you? And he kind of let me tag along. And then when we went to the SIV, I didn't want to do it. I woke up that morning and I said out loud to myself in the van, they can't make me do this. I don't have to do this. Forget it. And they can have my money. I don't even care. I don't even want it back. I'll have a great time. And then we got over there and I watched them go up, and that looked pretty doable. And so I've got to let them tow me up. And when I got on the tow rope and I'm on my way up, I'm thinking I'm about to show them the longest sled ride of their, the whole career. They've never seen somebody that has never done anything on the way down. And, I was just sure that I was just going to flip them the bird and just go just totally calm all the way back down to the landing zone and be done with it. But as soon as they got on the radio and started, telling you what to do next, I was like, man, the A's are right there. All I got to do is pull on one.
Yank on them. Hopefully everything will work out.
Yeah, and then the first time that it happened, when you first pull on, do a 50% collapse.
The glider wants to spin if you don't weight shift an outside brake. Yeah.
Well, right, and I know these things. I've been talking to Leah, and we talked about all the physics of a lot of that stuff and what to do and what not to do. But when I pulled that A, it just something happened, and it's kind of weird, but I didn't know that I'd love it like that. And so I was about the 6th tow of 4 people. So there was a couple of people that got 2 before me, and I finally went up. But when I finally did go up, I guess I did a little slow progression from then on out, because it was awesome, man. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a heck of an experience, that's for sure. I'm glad I'm glad I did it. I have no regrets now, but I'm glad that you and I could admit we were both scared going in, because it is what it is. I'm just a dude. I'm no one special,
Right. Right. I'm not trying to be.
That was better than anyone else.
I went there to push my limits. I went there to go further than I had ever been before, and further than I would ever need to go in a tandem flight, just so if anybody said, are you prepared for this? Yeah, I'm prepared. I've done worse stuff than we're about to do. Yeah, let's go. And that was the only reason I did it, was to be more than prepared for a tandem passenger. So.
You mentioned your buddy Brooke, and Derek Trout put a comment a little while back, says, I let Brooke have his way with my tip. I did want to thank DP for that $5 donation to the show. It's Resurgence PPG. And for Mr. Shandor, who has yet to have his tip touched in flight, I'm coming after you this summer, brother. It's all about that. Also, happy birthday to Jim CR120. I think it's his birthday today. Happy birthday to you, sir. So there you go. So we got a little off topic there.
It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Oh, well, happy belated birthday. I'm sorry I
Yeah.
missed it. All right. Also, talk about people getting close to you. You had some people flying pretty close to you just recently. You did a tandem course as well with one up. Tell us a little bit about that. What was memorable and from that experience?
It was a big ego boost for me. So I don't get a lot of people watching what I'm doing. I fly by myself 99.9% of the time. And I don't get a lot of people that are, I mean, it was just a very excellent experience. I know this is all ego right here, but to go down there and have people watching what you do and what you've spent a year trying to craft, taking off well, hitting every takeoff, hitting every landing, really smoothly, that kind of stuff. And then to have them blow your head up about how good you're doing that stuff, that was awesome. But I would say the biggest thing that I learned there was I thought that it was going to be a skills test, and they were going to teach me more skills about having, the extra weight or maybe the bigger rigs or something like that. But really the focus to me was on how you treat that passenger and make sure that they have a good flight, and that little relationship, that little quick single serving friend that you have to be for that passenger to have a good time. That kind of like, I can't wait to do that. I don't have my tandem rig yet, but when I do, I know I'm going to do it all the time. So
Nice. You just look at
I don't know
those
if that answered your
passengers.
question. Say that again.
You look at the passengers with those baby eyes, ears, and just make them feel comfortable about going flying. Is that
Yeah.
how it is?
I'm not the ones with the baby eyes, I don't think.
So, Derek put a comment in the chat
Oh God.
about one particular flight that you had, and I know you and I have talked about it. I don't know if we can really talk about it. Are we comfortable talking about that one particular flight, or hold off on that?
What I don't care. I think it was a fluke thing that
You know what? It
happens
was
to happen
okay.
to anybody.
I know how we can position this. So there was a little bit of a malfunction, and we were talking about how we're going to talk about this too. So one of your landing gears came down. One of your rear landing gears weren't straight across, and I got the opportunity to see this video. And I will say this: I don't know if anybody's going to ever get to see this video, but it's a freaking epic landing, man. Go ahead, I'll let you talk about it. Dude, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. It was awesome. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I had to call Mike Cotter afterwards because hindsight is definitely not 2020. When you're trying to remember something that happened, like my head just blew it up. So, but I called him and I said, did I actually do that pretty well? And he was like, man, it was amazing. So, basically I've been greasing on landings, for about 2 days, trying to really show off, for Travis and Allie and Mike, and, come to my first tandem. And so Mike gets in there in front of me, and I go through the whole spiel with him, and we go up, and he asked for one of the greasy touch and goes. And so I gave him a nice touch and go. And as we came off the ground, one of the wheels collapsed, and I had to come back in for an emergency landing. I guess my first tandem landing was an emergency landing. And so it was a total non-event. Flash cruiser, just the wheel went right back where it was supposed to be, and everything was fine. But I was glad that I had been working on smooth landings. So
it's definitely kudos to Fly Products as well with that Flash cruiser. So I will give James more credit than he's given himself. It looked like the rear axle was almost vertical, and when he laid it down, greased it if you want to call it, that axle went right back into the right position, and it was a perfect landing. I mean, James is really that damn good.
That's crazy. That's great video.
It was awesome. I was sitting there by myself going, yeah, so it was that cool. But you've also had an incident as well. You had an incident you told me about where you landed without a front wheel, correct?
I took off without a front wheel.
You took off,
Oh,
so you also
James.
landed without a front wheel. I'm
James,
assuming.
never a dull moment, James.
Sometimes you just have to go up, and you need it that day. And
And we're not talking a retractor trike here. We're talking an actual. This was supposed to be 3 exact wheels. Go for it.
yeah, the Power to Fly Calibri front wheel is held on by 2 screws, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I noticed one of the screws was loose, and I figured, I don't know, I had some wind, and I knew the takeoff would not be that long, and I also knew that, like, if I could just get going a little bit, it would take the weight off of that front wheel. And the minute that it took the weight off their front wheel, the front wheel just went and just kind of started hanging by one of the nuts.
That's crazy.
And I was like, the back wheels were on the ground, and so I just taxied it out, and I went for like a 45-minute flight because, you know, it was going to be bad when I came in. But no, I ended up landing, and you just got to slow it down tremendously, and then if you can, flare with the D's to really slow it down before you stop. I don't know if y'all have ever had to flare with the D's or not brake lines. Have y'all ever done that?
No.
I played around with it.
It's good to do. It's good to know how much those D's will grab.
It's a good way to depower the wing and strong
It's a
gusts as
chunk,
well.
and it feels like when you pull the D's, it feels like you're pulling 10 foot of brake line. If you know, you know what I'm talking about, Rippo?
Yeah, no
Feels
doubt.
like that's
Yeah.
what it is, and it's good to know. And I've had several times when I've taken off. I'm a haphazard pilot sometimes, and I've taken off several times with a tied up brake line, and it's good to know that you can get rid of those brake lines and just grab for whatever you feel like, and that's enough. I mean, pulling a random D line or a random C line just to get it to do what you need it to do at the time is just, you have to know that that's possible. Anyways.
Derek Trout said you foot landed.
Yeah, at the SIV course. I got
No, I mean when the wheel fell off, that was like a foot landing for you.
No, actually, I just like rode it out and it stopped kind of abruptly, and I got done. I'm trying to read these comments and the thing. They're just distracting.
Yeah, it's probably best off you don't.
Well, let's go ahead. I'm sorry. We're gonna go ahead and give away some stuff here on the wheel in just a second. Go ahead, James.
If we could find Dave.
I'm gonna. Can we do like 2 Charlie Soap giveaways?
Oh, hell yeah, we can do
All
2
right,
Charlie. So let's do this then. Why don't we do? Let's do it this way. We'll start off with the Resurgence mask. We'll do 4 giveaways tonight on the wheel. Sound good? So to claim your prize, you've got to, in the next 24 hours, you only have 24 hours to do this. So if you're watching this the day after, you still have a chance. Well, you probably had to be on the wheel, which meant you were in the show. But you have 24 hours to send me an email at davidwolf51@gmail.com. Or you could you can go on the Our Paramotor Nation website. At the very bottom, there's a place that you can go ahead and leave a comment with your name and address. And then I'll go ahead and what's that?
Look at the Charlie Soap spinning.
Oh, look at you, Dave Ross. Very
Nice. Sarah must have helped him with that.
All right, we'll start off with the mask, then we'll do a Charlie Soap package, right? Is it gonna be a package?
Yeah. I'm gonna send 2. Yeah, I'll do like little gift package with like maybe a T-shirt or something in there too.
Cool. Oh, awesome. Third one is going to be for one of the Resurgence PPG buffs that I have here in my hand. And then the fourth one will be another package. One of the things I have to say too, I love going to a fly-in, and James is there, and you'll see a table just set up and a donation box. You leave whatever donation you want and take something from the table, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm always trying to sell soap, of course. That's just what I've been doing since I was 8 years old. But if I can somehow raise some money for what Todd does, I I am a firm believer in the way that this sport or this activity or this pastime, whatever you call it, can change your mind, and it can change your direction, your overall direction. And I know that what Todd's doing is, for lack of a better term, the Lord's work. So anything I can do to do that. And so, yeah, last couple of times I've been in fly-ins, I just put some soap out there and ask for donations and give it all to Todd.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Real quick, Dave, before you do that, Derek Trout says, I seriously cleaned my razors with Charlie soap. Worked perfect. Yankee Paramotor says James is the best. Chris Fenimore says he needs soap. And then I saw something else in here too. Shandor says, I'd love a Charlie soap shirt and sticker for my truck. There we go.
All right.
Mr. Ruff. Oh, and Walter says, I need a wash Dave Cray Cray. So Walter Perry is in Australia, and he really wants some. Do you guys sell Charlie soap in Australia?
I had a distributor there at one time, but I don't have a direct distributor there anymore. But if you let me know who it is, I might be able to get something to them.
Oh my gosh. And I think there might be a care package coming from the States, so we might have to act on that pretty quick. All right, Mr. Ruff, it is yours to spin.
All right, here we go.
Oh God.
And this first one's for the COVID mask, the Resurgence PPG COVID mask. Who's it gonna be, Dave?
Not sure. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up coming somewhere around maybe just me, Kevin Smith,
Leah,
JP,
maybe Kelby Cox, maybe.
Kelby said he needed something.
Yep.
You know what? I think Kelby.
There you go.
Kelby Cox. Congratulations, Kelby Cox. I think I saw something about 40 minutes ago. Says Kelby said if he wins, give it to Todd. Well, Todd has these. I don't know.
I saw that.
But let's see what Kelby, if Kelby wants us to spin it again, or if he would love to have this. Let us know. While we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and spin it for the first of 2 Charlie soap packages. Congratulations. If not, I don't want that damn mask. Okay.
Here we go.
I don't want that damn mask.
Sorry.
All right.
All right. Who we got, Dave? What you think?
I'm thinking Linda Anderson or Mark Anthony Harris. Yep, going to be Mark Anthony Harris.
All right.
James, do you have anybody in London, in United Kingdom? In United Kingdom?
I don't have anybody in United Kingdom, but I can get some soap to him.
Well, I think you're gonna be Mark Anthony Harris. Congratulations. I think his son may be nearby in Texas, and but he'll have 24 hours to get me the address, and we'll get it over to you, buddy. Okay. It's always the people in foreign countries that win. I don't get it. All right. Did we see anything from Kelby? I don't think so yet. Did we? Everybody see anything from Kelby? Not yet. All right. Well, right now it's going to Kelby, unless Kelby doesn't claim his prize. But we have a Resurgence buff, and one of the things that you get to win if you go to Bad Apples Fly-In and Greg Anthony Harris, I'm sure he will donate 2 minutes of his time to show you how to properly put a buff on your head. Greg Anthony Harris also.
You need to pull that down a little bit lower to your brow, Dave. It's too high on your forehead. Right. That's not how you wear a buff.
There you go.
There you go. Much better.
Mr. Ruff, sir.
Yes, sir.
A proper buff wearing.
Dave, have you started wearing the buff now that Greg has been there?
Yeah, actually I do. I need to get a haircut though, because I've got so much freaking hair that it's just like this huge buff.
Well, Greg has more hair than you do, you know. He does. You've seen him with his hair, sure. So I'd love to see you wearing a buff. I think it'd be a lot of fun. All right, this is for the buff. Who's got the stuff? Who's it going to be?
Oh, maybe. Yep, there we go. Never trust a skinny chef, Shane.
Wow, Mr. Mile.
Shane's been winning a lot of stuff. That's a great buff.
Very cool.
Congrats, Shane.
That'll help the sunburn on his noggin. That's an awesome, awesome price. Shane, you have okay. Resurgence is gonna send me Kelby's address. Shane, you've got 24 hours to claim your prize and send me your mailing address.
I think I won a buff like 2 weeks ago and just never heard of another thing about
it. We have one more prize from Charlie Soap, Mr. Ruff.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. After the last spin, Dave, I'd like to say something if I could.
Absolutely.
You bet. All right, here we go.
Anthony Peregrango says, Shane has no hair to keep it back. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you need, do you need hair to have a buff? You don't need hair to have a buff, right?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. By the way, next week we have Johnson Q joining us on Our Paramotor Nation. So come back for that.
Oh, maybe Aviator Show or Burt Berry. I think it's going to be Aviator.
Bart.
There you go.
Is it going to be Aviator Show? All right. Congratulations. Nice. You get a show, Eric Farewell. You have 24 hours to claim your prize from Charlie Soap, James Sutherland. Thank you very much. Dave Ruff.
What do you got for us, Dave?
To say something.
Take it away. Take it away,
Dave. Going
Dave.
back to the question. Wanted to go back to what you had said, Dave. The question, as far as for the SIVs, and I heard Rittman say that he did it because you and I did it. And Rittman, I love you, but respectfully, I don't agree with you. You never do something, especially in flight and things like that, because somebody else does it. That's how we get hurt.
I agree with you. I'm not doubting that.
The only reason why I took SIV is because of thermal flying, because I'm out here thermal flying midsummer, and I wanted to up my game. That was the only reason why I really took the SIV. In fact, I even tried the aerobatics. Dave was a monster with the aerobatics. So impressed. But when I started doing some of the maneuvers and things, I was like, no, this isn't for me. So it kind of goes to the question of, do you push it, for the views? Do you push it for, things like that on the social media and things like that? And I really caution anybody watching it now or later is don't do it because your friend did it. Don't do it because the popular YouTube guy does it or anything else like that. And don't do it for views. That's how we die. This sport is inherently safe, but aviation is inherently dangerous and very unforgiving. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for coming back for that. I think that's a big deal. Not pushing, staying alive, staying within your realm, having your own reasons, so that they're sound. For things that we do, that all that stuff's important. PIC. Anyways,
I've said several times after taking that course that I've stepped it back quite a bit. So that course taught me some things that
It did something different for me. I'm a scaredy cat, and so what it gave me was I was more than ready to do some of the maneuvers. I just didn't have somebody holding my hand. And so like I had gotten to I was doing some pretty big, strong wing overs this year, and I really wanted to do a barrel roll. And it wasn't until I got 3 days of SIV under my belt that I finally put the motor on, went up to 2,000 feet and did a barrel roll because I just needed it. And so I don't know. It opened me up to the possibilities of what I could do safely. Which was just a little bit more than what I thought before. But you're right. I think it's the great equalizer. Sometimes it brings people closer, back over the line where they have crossed the line that they, shouldn't have. And some people, it makes them jump over the line where it's been taken, it's taken too long for them to get there. And now they're ready. They just didn't know it. So anyway. Yep. I'm just dragging it out. But.
First of all, well said, Dave Ruff. Very well said. Second of all, one of the best comments I saw of the night comes from the real Jeff Dean, who said, just because you see Ripman riding crash on YouTube doesn't mean you should do it too. Love that.
Exactly.
And I just got a message from Aviator Show. Eric says, nice, James is the man, but feel free to spin again. Let someone else feel the love even more. Thank you all. So Dave, I hope you didn't delete all that wheel work or else you get to start all over from scratch, buddy. let's
Aviator, I don't like you right now.
let's go ahead. So everybody gets another chance at Harley Soap
enough soap.
package.
So what are we saying? Some of this?
Some of that, and maybe a little some of this too. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I would probably be a little bit of each one of those.
Nice.
All right. Very nice. Stay tuned. We're gonna spin it again.
All right.
Who's going to be the
Yeah,
lucky
I saw a
winner?
question. I saw a question in the chat that I thought was pretty cool, and it was a big thing for me. I think it was JP.
JP Tulo?
He asked something about fear. And I can't remember where it was. It was earlier. It was like, when did you lose your fear or something like that of flying? Because I started from fear. You know, I started from pretty crippling fear. I think it was 50 feet up that first flight. You know, it was like it was instant. I didn't know. I thought it was going to be scary, and it just wasn't.
It's awesome, man.
Anyways,
That's cool.
yeah.
By the way, Kelby Cox says he was gone for a second, but he's back. Kelby, you just won yourself a Resurgence PPG COVID mask. We're gonna be sending that out to you tomorrow, buddy. All right, let's get back to Dave Ruff.
All right.
You ready, Dave Ruff?
I am. All right, here we go.
Baby.
Now I'm just scared that somebody in like Turkey is going to win it.
Walter will win it in Australia. Good luck with
Right.
That happens on After Dark all the time. It's always
that. Mark
Walter.
George says he stinks. He needs soap.
Looks like it may be Jim CR.
Ah.
How about
Yep. Looks like it's gonna be.
See, Jim CR 120. Cool. Jim, go ahead and shoot me over your address, and I'll go ahead and get that over to James, and we will get that out to you.
Yeah, he was asking about fear of heights. That's what it was. It was DP. Who's DP? Does anybody know who DP is?
I don't know DP, but I know he donated I think it was $5 earlier tonight.
Okay.
Couple other things. Actually, it was interesting because my mother, who's deathly afraid of heights, never ever once has gone on a roller coaster with me when I was a child or ever. She was completely flying. I mean, she had a blast yesterday, smile from ear to ear, and hopefully we'll get to make you out of that.
I'm so envious of you. So envious. That's my next frontier, I think, in paramotoring is sharing it with all of the people that I've gotten the crazy eye look when you try to tell them like what you did today, and they're like, oh my God, that must be awesome. You know, like to be able to take them up next time. I cannot wait for that.
Oh, it's great.
I'm sure that's going to be the best thing in the world because
Yeah,
it was for me. I love this sport. Anyways, I know that other people would too if they just had the chance. You know.
Sure. Well, for me too, and Dave and John both know, even before Tucker did the video about taking his mom up, I had been talking about taking my mom up, and we'd planned it, but just the weather came in and they weren't coming down because of COVID, and they completely have isolated themselves. And now that they've been vaccinated, they finally came down to Cincinnati and hang out with us. So we've been really talking about it for a while. It's very exciting. My father-in-law is getting more and more, what's the word I'm looking for, John?
Further along.
senile?
His mind. He's
Senile.
not small. He's always was there. No, he's more Alzheimer's.
Dementia. Oh,
Dementia.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, he constantly is asking what's going on and asking the same questions over. So to be able to do this video to make a video for him where he's gonna be able to watch it and remember, although he got nervous up there, which is kind of interesting because he's jumped out of 3 or 4 airplanes when he was in the Army, and he was the one I thought would be cool and calm, and surprisingly about 6 minutes into the flight, he goes, I think I'm ready to go down now. I said, oh, okay, let's go land. But my mother, she could have stayed up forever. So, well, James, thank you.
Well, I
Go
was
ahead.
going to say, I hate to end it real quick, but how old are your parents? Are they 80?
80.
My dad's 80 and my mom is less than that. They both want to go up for a flight, and that's where my next goal is to get them to up.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, you got to. It's great. Hey, if you want to join us in the after show, you can go into the description of this video. That's all in there for you. Make sure you are subscribing to James's YouTube channel, just James Sutherland. Go ahead and I know Rip put a link to that channel earlier on. Wednesday night, Mr. Dave Ruff is going to be hosting After Dark. We got to see him eat crawfish with Sarah and Greg and Cynthia this past Wednesday night. Dave, thanks for taking us on your little trip to the restaurant. Tomorrow night, you got Clear Prop. Tuesday, you've got Eating with Shane. And of course, Thursday, you've got paraglidingtalk.com. Guys, thank you so much for joining us each and every Sunday night. And most importantly, make sure you go to your local stores and find out where you can buy yourself some Charlie soap and support James Sutherland, who supports Resurgence PPG. All right. Any last thoughts? Anybody?
Fly as much as you can.
There you go. Craig Taylor says he took his 84-year-old mother-in-law up and she loved it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to be able to share it with everybody. Doesn't matter the age. Kids, I've taken my 10-year-old up and now we've taken the 80. It's awesome. Fly, baby, fly, right? Dave, Don, you guys good?
Great show. Thanks, James,
Absolutely.
for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate being here.
And we'll see everybody next week.
Yep. If you want to say hi to James, come to the after show. Like I said, all that information's listed in the description of the video. Looks like Todd Scandrick's going to jump in first, so we'll see there, Todd, as well. All right, guys, have a great week.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
See y'all.
Have a great week.
See ya.
Be safe.